What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boy oh boy, DICE went ahead and did something that honestly is kind of splitting the Battlefield community in half right now. And honestly, it's not in the worst way possible, like, obviously, at the end of the day, this isn't going to affect if Battlefield 6 is a good game or not. But I thought it would be very interesting to put together a video and just see what everybody's opinions on this channel truly are about these changes that DICE did within Battlefield 6. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go and dive deep, I do want to showcase to you guys a little something here. Battlefield put out a little snippet kind of showcasing the mine that they have for the engineer class, but who cares about that? We already know what that does. They kind of gave us a little bit of a sneak peek of what Maroc Valley looks like. Now, again, it's a very short snippet, so you don't really get to see that much. But I'll be honest, the vibes of this map look absolutely phenomenal. And to me personally, it has given me major Battlefield 1 vibes. I am very excited to play this map. If you guys remember a little while ago, I was talking about how pumped I am for this one. And I think from the layout, at least from what I saw, it looks like one of the best layouts out of all the maps. I'm very excited to see what this is all about, but let me know what you guys think of this map down in the comment section below. Do you think it's too gloomy? Do you think it's just right? Do you think it's going to be more of a open map, more of a condensed map? Leave your opinions down below. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, let's go ahead and hop into the main topic of today's video, and that is the overall look of this game, Battlefield 6. Again, and I kind of saw the vibes of Maroc Valley that I just showcased, but to be honest with you guys, that could have looked completely different because apparently between Alpha to Beta, they went ahead and introduced a filter to the game. I'll actually showcase the first image that I saw here. This is by Battlefield Intel, and it showcases going from alpha over to the beta. Now, the alpha is no filter, and then going into the beta that is with a filter. And as you can see, it honestly kind of just toned down the colors by a drastic amount. And again, there's also another example here, again, with filter and also one without filter, where again, you could see that the colors with the filter are definitely toned back a bit. Now, again, this is, making its rounds on social media, and everybody is giving their opinions, again, extra feisty about it. Now, I will say, one of the developers over at DICE did talk about this topic, and as you can see right here from Battlefield Bulletin, they said, DICE Global Community Manager Kevin Johnson says Battlefield 6 doesn't feature a filter like other classic games, but it's the actual atmospheric vibe of each particular location. Maybe one day we'll sit down with the level designers and chat through this stuff, showing what goes into their hard work. Now, personally, I would absolutely love to see that happen because I think having those bits of details would really go a long way. And I think a lot of people will be interested to see, how DICE went ahead and put together the vibes of this maps, their thought process, behind the scenes with these maps, so on and so forth. But regardless if, they consider this a filter or not a filter, let's be real. They changed the overall vibes of the maps. It doesn't matter. Like I said, the term filter, it is what it is. Regardless, we have proof that indeed the visual look of Battlefield 6 has shifted. Now, I'll be real with you guys. When it comes down to this overall look, I'm not too mad about it. I'll keep it completely real with you guys. I am not too mad about it, although I do understand where a lot of people are coming from. A lot of people love the colors and the pop of how the game looked when it was in alpha and, it was quote-unquote no filter, on the game. And I get that. A lot of the times, Battlefield is known for its visual beauty, That's honestly how they sell their games a lot of the times. When it comes down to their trailers, it all comes down to how the game looks. Like Battlefield 1, for an example, completely sold off of vibes and just the look of the game. Battlefield 5 is known for having some of the best, most, beautiful graphics within a Battlefield experience. I mean, over half of the maps in Battlefield 5 are absolutely stunning, gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. I think a lot of people prefer the alpha version because it has a bit more of a pop. You can see a bit easier. The colors are very pleasing. But for me personally, I think that with the filter on, or again, quote unquote, with the filter on, because again, the devs say that there is no filter, but regardless, with the darker looking graphics, I'll be real, I kind of like that better. It's given me a mix of Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 1. Like, for example, when I was talking about Maroc Valley earlier, I said it looked like a Battlefield 1 map, and I didn't mean that in any bad way. I meant that in the best way possible, the vibes, the atmosphere. For me personally, when it came down to Battlefield 1, yes, they had a few maps in the rotation that were definitely beautiful and had very pretty colors, so on and so forth. But the massive, selling point for me personally with Battlefield 1, and I think a lot of other people as well, was the fact of how gritty it looked. You know, it looked like war. And let's be honest here, ladies and gentlemen, war is not the most pretty thing to go ahead and look at. Of course, a lot of these locations can start off looking stunning, but at the end of the day, once, war breaks out and all hell is breaking loose, you're not going to be in some pretty terrain. You're on the battlegrounds. It's not supposed to be looking bright and vibrant. It's supposed to be looking dark, gloomy, clouds everywhere, debris kicking up everywhere, fire everywhere, burnt trees, destroyed buildings. That is, again, the atmosphere that a lot of people are looking for when it comes to a Battlefield game. And although I don't want all the maps to look like that within Battlefield 6, don't get me wrong, I do like having my fair share of, bright, vibrant-looking maps. But at the end of the day, I think the mass majority of the maps that I would prefer would be exactly like what they're showcasing here, a little bit more gloomy, almost like with a filter on, because it really does give me that nitty-gritty vibe that Battlefield 1 was really notorious for. And I don't know about you guys, but I hear it's very unpopular, but I swear I see a partial Battlefield 3 filter, because this game just really makes me think of Battlefield 3 a lot of the time, even when it comes down to the maps and the looks of them. As I stated, it feels like a mix of Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 1, although apparently from the devs, there's no filter in place. But the way that they went ahead and balanced out the atmosphere is great, in my opinion. But again, that is my opinion. That doesn't mean that is facts. That's the truth. That's how this game should be. That is just how I see it, and I enjoy it. Of course, I think this is a very important topic for a lot of people to go ahead and discuss. Go down in the comment section, guys. Leave your opinions. Do you like it a little bit flashier? Do you like it, again, like me, a little bit more dull and, darker, gloomy? What are the vibes that you are craving when it comes to the Battlefield experience? But I will throw something out there, a little bit of a constructive criticism, or maybe an addition is a little bit better said. I think they should add a feature because, again, it seems like they're willing to compromise with the community for a lot of this stuff. If there is some type of filter in play, again, I know they said it's not, but it's I don't know, something seems a little bit fishy here. If there is, you should allow the community the option to choose if they prefer the lighter version or if they prefer the darker, gloomier version. And I know a lot of people are going to say that, the lighter version is going to be easier to see people, so more people are going to gravitate to that, and anybody who picks the darker version is going to be at a disadvantage. But I honestly disagree with that statement. It didn't seem like it was like a much brighter. It just seemed like the colors were a bit more vibrant, and the scenery. And when it comes down to it, with the auto spot feature, it makes it a lot easier to pinpoint targets. And again, they are going to fine-tune the auto spot feature, so you probably can't cross-map people. But when it comes down to, up close and personal engagements and, trying to navigate corridors and dark corners, you'll still be able to spot players. It's going to work perfectly fine. I think that would be the best of both worlds. That way, the player base can choose exactly what they want out of the overall experience. If they want something that looks flashy and bright like Battlefield 5, let them go ahead and do so. If they want something that's a bit more gloomy like Battlefield 1, again, let them go ahead and do so. Or, if this option is a little too complex, maybe, just maybe, there's no confirmation about this just yet. I'm just throwing this, out there. But maybe we will have the possibility within Portal to go ahead and change the atmosphere, lighting, weather, all of the above within a lot of these maps. Got to keep in mind, Portal is going to be pretty dang advanced. I'm kind of shocked, and I feel like a lot of people still haven't really, let it sink in just yet after the disaster of 2042 in Portal. But maybe with Portal within Battlefield 6, we will have the freedom to go ahead and change these aspects of the game when it comes to the filter look, the not filter look, the lighting, whether it's light outside, dark outside, the weather, whether you want it to rain, whether you want it to, be cloudy, whatever it is. Maybe that would be the best of all worlds. If they can't add in the option to allow us to pick what we want, whether it's filter on, filter off, then why not just allow us to go into Portal, customize the map that we want it to be customized for, and if people want to play that, again, they can go into the server browser, find stuff like that, or they could stick with the base game with the atmosphere that the developers built themselves. That's the thing with Battlefield 6, ladies and gentlemen. It seems like it's going to be almost something for everyone, which could be a risky thing because sometimes when you make something for everyone, it's going to be a bit of a cluster, but when it comes to something like this, I don't think it's going to be too much of a cluster because really, it's not really all over the place when it comes to what Battlefield's trying to be. It's just giving accessibility in multiple different ways. That's all it's truly doing, allowing players to play, navigate, do exactly as they please within the Battlefield universe. But ladies and gentlemen, please, as I stated before in the middle of this video, go down in the comment section and let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like the previous alpha version of how the graphics looked? Do you like the beta version of how the graphics looked? And do you agree with me? Do you think that we should have the freedom to be able to pick and choose what we want, and again, maybe even have the option to do so in Portal? Or do you think it should be completely cut off from the public? The developers make what they think is the best thing possible, their passion, and, we just got to kind of rock with it. Personally, I wouldn't be mad with that because I think the maps look great in my personal opinion. But I would still love to hear what everybody has to say about this topic down below. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a dislike. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell. I post here daily at 8 morning Eastern Time. And sometimes we go ahead and double upload at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Everything between COD, Battlefield, Splitgate 2, Arc Raiders. Shoot, I'm even trying to talk about some Gears of War E-Day and any other, shooting game that might be coming out at some point in time I want to discuss on this channel. So subscribe and hit that bell. And last but not least, if you guys are interested in any of my live streams, I stream Monday through Saturday over on Twitch, starting between 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you guys are interested, go link that channel down in the description of this video. But as always, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.